Podcasts are hot right now. How do I know? Well, you're listening to one right now, aren't you? But you might be wondering, how on earth do I get my voice out there and start my own podcast? It all seems so intimidating. Between hosting and platforms and monetization, it can get real complicated real quick. Well, I'm going to let you in on a little secret. We started this podcast over 2 years ago, not knowing clue one on how to do it. So how do we do it? We did it with Anchor. Anchor is the free podcast app with creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. And Anchor will distribute your podcast for you, so it can be heard on all the platforms like Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many more. And everybody likes money, right? Well, you can make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. So go right now, download the free Anchor app, or go to Anchor FM to get started. It's the eCommerce Minute, your daily dose of e-commerce, tech, and retail news with your host, John Suder, Bart, Mroz, and Brittany Blackman. The eCommerce Minute is a production of SUMO Heavy, a digital commerce consulting firm located in Brooklyn, New York, and Philadelphia. Find us on the web at sumoheavy.com. It's eCommerce Minute, episode 761.
In today's episode, Venmo pilots business profiles for small sellers.
Due to COVID-19, the current economic climate has been challenging for small businesses, many of whom are sole proprietors. Companies from industries of all types have been doing what they can to support these businesses, and now a popular payments company is doing their part. Venmo is now piloting a feature called Business Profiles, which offers small sellers and other sole proprietors the opportunity to have more of a professional page on its platform. Sellers can share key business details like address, phone number, email, website, and the ever-popular and more. By adopting a business profile service, merchants can use a unique QR code at their point of sale to facilitate contactless payments or send the code to customers via AirDrop on iOS or via their profile link. The profiles give smaller sellers a way to do business without having to necessarily establish a larger web presence like a Facebook page or Google business listing, for example. Instead, Venmo's business profiles may be better suited to such sellers as local artists, crafters, or farmers market booth holders, or those who casually use Venmo to support their income they receive from side hustles, such as mowing lawns or doing neighborhood repair jobs. With the business profile pilot, the peer-to-peer payments platform follows in the footsteps of Builder AI, eBay, Facebook, and Instagram, which have introduced tech tools and funding for small businesses. Venmo mentioned in its announcement that it has more than 52 million users. The company noted that establishing company profiles allows small businesses to tap into that network of users without needing a substantial advertising budget. Cool. I don't really use Venmo that much. That's what the fellow kids use. But what always fascinated me is like you could just scroll through and, you know, if you're bored, you could see what everybody's paying each other.
Oh my gosh. It's literally another social media account.
It is. My lady friend, her son and his girlfriend, they live together and you can see how they're paying each other's bills. I'm like, really, it's fascinating.
Yeah. I can scroll on Venmo for like hours of content. And the funniest part about it is that everybody tries to be like a comedian on it.
Oh, yeah. They put little weed symbols and like, hey, Joe.
Inside jokes.
Right. Little beer. Right. Why did they do that? I mean, I get the comedy part of it, but what is the purpose of that? To show everybody how you're paying out money?
Well, I genuinely don't know. I think it's because humans are inherently nosy.
Yeah, nope. I agree.
Kind of. So Venmo was actually a Philadelphia company, by the way, started inside of Ticket Leap, if you do not know that. So because the way Venmo in the beginning was set up, because you couldn't do microtransactions like that ever. It's how they were passing money around and who kept what. So there's a lot more, like you can do that with other things now, but Venmo is the first one to do like microtransactions where you can pass it back and forth. And they basically, the way to have a ledger is that. You couldn't do it any other way.
But they had to make it public.
But they made it public.
They just made it public for giggles, I guess. I don't know.
I think there's more to that, and not just for giggles. I think it was just like a public ledger to see what's going on, and it just made sense for them, and they released.
And then they just left it because that's just
left
the way
it because it's and it became a thing, right?
It's a thing.
Yeah.
So anyway. Cool. These business profiles are great, as mentioned in the article, for small craftsmen. Like if you go to a craft show, increasingly now everyone's got a Square terminal, everybody's got a way to pay. And if this gives us another option to pay for small craftspeople, and I love the kids mowing the lawn analogy. I mean, I would definitely do that. I think it's a great thing. It seems like a simple and obvious thing but you wonder like why wasn't it there before? But I guess reasons. But yeah, I think it's a great thing. Great thing for small sellers. I don't know what other big merchant would probably not do this. I don't know. I don't know. What's your opinion? Like, would a larger store, would a larger merchant do something like this? Does this add a complication, or is it just like, who cares? Just put it on there and see how it goes?
Yeah, because there's other things you have to deal with, right? Like the reason you kind of would want to do this because of percentages of what you're paying credit card companies, and then that makes it a little easier for them. But big stores don't care because their percentages of what they pay are so tiny because of the volume they do, right? And scale, right? But if we've been talking about restaurants and things like that, this makes the most sense. Like I've seen restaurants do Venmo by themselves, obviously, but this makes it a little more easier for them to actually get it to the play.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see if they expand this, because like if you look at when you have an ecosystem set up like this, where the payment part, which is the hard part, already there, clamping new features on, to me, now, listen, I'm not a code person, but I just look at something as an opportunity. They could probably start building in menus and things, kind of like what Uber Eats does, like just build in other things to help the small business promote themselves, because the more they promote themselves, the more money Venmo/PayPal makes. That just common sense. Seems like common sense to me. Make it more of a social platform, place where you can get information about the business and be surprised. I mean, I bet you, because now everybody's copying Instagram. I mean, what's to stop them from letting merchants list things for sale directly within Venmo and make that literally more of a social platform?
True.
Right.
Yeah.
True.
So, I mean, Venmo is also owned by PayPal, so there's that.
Right. That's why.
So, I mean, they can, if you think about it, I mean, between PayPal and Braintree and Venmo, I mean, there's all the payments.
Venmo says the feature will also offer transactional insights and information, including number of customers and a customer list. How do they do that? How would they do that?
Because you think about it, like Venmo, you're still giving as a customer, you're giving your number or whatever, email, as a tracking thing. So the problem with something like, the reason they're actually putting that out there is because something like Square owns that data.
Mm-hmm.
Like they don't really have access to that. Any one of these companies will own it, and then you can rent it out from them. Right. You don't always keep your own data. That's one of the biggest problems for restaurants too.
Interesting.
Owning that data, customer data, what the ticket is on. If you think about it, like if you really want to go long term, it's not just giving $20 to the restaurant, it's tracking your good customers.
Gotcha. So what it says here is that as for now, this new feature will be free, but it may not always be the case. So maybe they're going on queue and maybe making a feature full thing that a merchant will be willing to pay for, aka I don't know, let's use a restaurant analogy, menus, things you can buy directly through the Venmo app, things like that. Business owners will be charged a transaction fee of 1.9 plus 10 on every payment in their profile. This is still a lower fee than Square charges or even PayPal. So it's interesting that PayPal is using Venmo as sort of like a testing ground for this kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. What is the plan for Venmo though? I mean,
It's more integrated than PayPal is into things. I mean, when was the last time you went to the store and paid with PayPal?
Yeah, that is true.
That's true.
That's true. I have a PayPal.
I mean, Brittany. Like, think about Brittany. Do you send your friends PayPal things like you used to do it? And everybody uses Venmo.
Do not. Yeah, I use Venmo, and I use my Venmo card in store.
Right.
See, I have a PayPal card that's in my wallet that I've never ever used.
Right. I mean, between that and like Google Pay and Apple Pay, I mean, Apple Pay has that being built into your phone is crazy good.
So that's a good point. So I guess what we're saying is we're saying the quiet part out loud is that Venmo is a different type of user, and they're going to capitalize on that and build upon it.
It's good.
True.
Yeah, PayPal is like, I sold you some CDs on eBay. Yeah, man. Stick it in your PayPal, man. Yeah, I sold that album for you. Yeah, cool. All right, we'll do a little stat time. More than 75% of small businesses in the U.S. are sole proprietors. That's according to payments. And finally, the addition comes at a time when the coronavirus outbreak just took a hit on PayPal's larger business, leading it to miss Q1 earnings. Venmo, however, was a bright spot in terms of growth, with total payment volume in the quarter reaching $31 billion, up 48% year over year. That's people paying each other, hey man, I'll give you half the rent because I'm out of work now. So just leave it right. Yeah. It's the world we live in. All right, you guys got anything else?
Nope.
All right, that is your e-commerce minute for today. We'll see you in a minute tomorrow. That's it for today's show. If you like the show, do us a favor and subscribe or leave us a review on iTunes. And don't forget, you can now listen to the e-commerce minute on your Amazon device. Just add eCommerce Minute to your flash briefing. And finally, if you have a comment or suggestion, or just want to say hi, find us on social media at SUMO Heavy.